Have you heard me say before that 79% of Instagram users open stories before scrolling their feeds? Isn't that wild? Well, we want to make sure that we're taking those eyeballs and turning them into engagement and conversion. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I fully take advantage of this because Instagram stories are where I put the majority of my Instagram content. Again, I'm just trying to capitalize on those eyeballs. Yes, your feed posts are super important in making sure that your profile operates as a miniature website. However, Instagram stories should be a major part of your content strategy. You know why? Because they work. I love throwing Instagram hacks at you, so please be sure to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so that you get a notification each time I post a new video on Wednesdays. Also make sure to like and comment so I know which content is resonating with you, so I can make sure to answer more questions and bring you stuff that'll help you propel your business forward. The same reasons that I love using Instagram stories as a creator are actually the same reasons why Instagram stories are so successful. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be edited and, like I've said before, like an Oscar-winning performance and movie and video production quality. They are something that's quick, disappearing, and personable. They're also a place that people can show off their personality. Now, if you're only like a solopreneur, this is a great place to show what's it like to work with you versus other people in your area. But also, this is a great place for brands to show a little bit of personality, whether that's with team members or some quirky animations or some music or some behind the scenes things. This is a great place to connect. Instagram stories are also an amazing place to repeat content and do reminders without making your feed look like one thing for an entire month. And last but not least, it's all about engagement and conversion. And as a creator, as a marketing person, all I want is engagement and conversion. Let's jump into exactly how we're gonna push forward with Instagram stories and make sure they're a part of our daily content. Tip number one, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you know what this is gonna be. It's going to be set your goals. Now, this is a very broad thing to say, especially with something that's gonna be coming out daily, but what are your main priorities with each piece that you're gonna be promoting? Sometimes it's just to show personality or tell a brand story. Other times you're gonna be asking for conversion or to go over to your feed, or maybe to even click a link in a bio or swipe up. However, we need to make sure that those goals are crystal clear and we are doing everything with a strategy behind it, not just throwing content out into the world for the sake of. The second thing I'm gonna say is also pretty straightforward. Do them. Do Instagram stories. Make them a part of not only your set content calendar that you're gonna put out at the beginning of every month, but also make them part of your day-to-day habits. So if you guys are doing something behind the scenes that you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, take some photos, do a little video, tag your photographer, do whatever it needs to be to give people a little like peek behind the curtain. We love that shit. Number 3, make sure that your Instagram stories are coming out within your brand. Now, what I mean by that is making sure that you're sticking to the aesthetic of your brand. So if you're a polished white shoe firm, you're gonna make sure that everything you're putting out there looks that way. Everyone's still got on like the normal suits and stuff that they would wear at the office, but maybe you're showing that you have a little bit of a playful side. But making sure, again, that we stick with the vibe that you would get if someone walked into your office. Again, I know I say this all the time, and I say it again all the time, but just making sure everything is cohesive. The way that they would meet you in a meeting is the way they meet you in the boardroom, is the way that they meet you online. Super easy ways to do this are making sure that you always use the same filter on Instagram. So of course you have your basic story swipes that you can do to get, I think it's like 7 or 8 different set filters. But now there are a ton of extra filters that you can find. So find one that aligns with your aesthetic and stick to that one. Make sure you're also choosing a font and keeping that font. Now, I'm assuming Instagram stories don't quite offer your font yet. I know your typography is probably set out in your brand guidelines. However, find one that's similar or one that at least goes with the visual of what you're trying to have come across and stick with it. There's nothing worse than switching back and forth between fonts and colors and those kinds of things. So making sure that we're sticking with our color stories, sticking with our typography. Also ensure that whoever's talking to the camera, if there's any speaking going on, or if there's any written copy on top of the video, that you're doing it in your brand voice. You wanna make sure that it sounds the same way that you sound in your website's copy, in your emails, and all those other things to make sure that the brand stays cohesive. Yes, it's just an Instagram story and doesn't have to be perfect, but we still want to be putting our foot forward the way that we have chosen to represent ourselves in that brand space. The fourth thing I want you to do is think about using all the features possible within stories. Instagram loves when you use their features. It's a thing that they're just like, go crazy for it and will increase your engagement. There's a lot of options here too. So we can do things like ask questions. I love asking questions to the audience because you get feedback for free. Do you know how much it costs to run a marketing survey? It's expensive. You have your exact audience right in front of you, people that have chosen to follow you, and you can ask them, what colors do you like better? If you're doing fashion, you can ask them, what type of seminars do you want us to host at our next event? You can get feedback from people about products you have in the market, how they've been using their product, where they've been drinking your product. These are the types of things that we can actually engage with. You can also do polls. So I love this. There's a brand here in Vancouver called Laundra Bodywear, and they'll actually drop which color do you guys prefer for the season or which cut. And it's a great way to, yes, engage with your audience, but you're also putting out content that people feel connected to. They feel seen. There are a ton of fun gifts that are available to you on Instagram as well. So if they make sense to your brand, go for it. If you have a really beautiful brand, you can even just go in there and find a little sparkle to add on to something. If you have a goofy brand, there are plenty of hilarious gifts in there as well. So make sure that you're using those. And if you do have a personal profile, you're also able to add music to these stories. That's an awesome way to make sure Instagram knows that you're using all of their features. So if you do have a business account and music is not available to you, there's a workaround for this. I jump over into TikTok, find the song I want, do the story that I want, and download it. Then I upload it into Instagram, and yes, I usually zoom in just to get rid of that little TikTok symbol in the top. Sorry, TikTok. But we do that just so that I can make sure that I have that music in the background. Sometimes that's awesome for just a little piece of scenery or something that I want to do without audio. Number 6, write back to people. Even if they just commented on your questions or they've dropped you a DM, make sure that you're engaging back. You're having a real conversation. You're not just liking their comment. Start conversations with them. I've talked about this before and I will talk about it until I'm blue in the face. Instagram is a social media platform. We need to make sure to keep that in there, right? So it's social. You're supposed to be engaging back to people. Can you imagine if you were, let's take a retail shop like I always do. If you were a retail shop and someone walked into your place and was like, oh my God, I love this shirt. And you just were like, you wouldn't do it, right? You'd say, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, do you see these pants that we have available? Or, yeah, did you see it? We have it in this color as well. Or explain about the brand. Hey, it's an eco-friendly brand that we just got in. I'd love for you to try it on and see how it feels. So make sure that you're engaging the same way online as you do in person. I'm totally repeating myself again because this is the piece that everyone is forgetting. Number 7, make sure that you keep a variety of content. Now, what I mean by that is that it's not always just you speaking straight to the camera. Sometimes it's products, sometimes it's tips, sometimes it's a different person if you have a bigger team. Making sure that we keep that variety of content with all in the same brand ensures that we keep people engaged and they're always excited to see what's next, not going, oh my gosh, not this again. Number 8 is making sure that we post every feed post to our stories. Now, I talked about this in my Instagram 101 video, and if you haven't seen that, please drop everything you're doing and go over and watch that. It is the basics of Instagram that will help you increase your engagement across every aspect of that app. However, make sure that you are posting your feed post to your stories. This will give you a different kind of content and gives you a new audience to engage with. It also just makes Instagram really happy that you're sharing your own photo. So that's never wrong for the algorithm. Lastly, I just want to reiterate that doing video content is a muscle. So the more you use it, the stronger you're going to get. Last week, I dropped a video about having confidence on camera, and I think it really help you out with your stories as well. Get your bartender to mix up their favorite cocktail and show them making it. Give the recipe away for free because you know that you're building that content and that rapport with the audience. Get one of your financial advisors to give away a free tip because, oh, hey, we know the interest rates went down. What does that mean? Give that information away for free to build that trust with your audience. Stories are a great, great way for you to actually go to people and reach them in their homes instead of them actually having to come into your space. Remember, that's what social media is all about. We have this platform where we can be social and reach our audiences even when they're not around us. I really hope this video has helped add another layer to what we've talked about in Instagram. If you have any other questions, I'd love to help out. So please leave me a comment, like this video if you liked this video. And if you didn't, go ahead and leave me a thumbs down. Totally fine with that. Just let me know what I could add to it, what you missed, and what other content you'd like to see that would be more beneficial.